Well, Matt, that felt like a hard watch. Was it the same for you?
Certainly first half. Again, started the game poorly, fragile in terms of our confidence, but also execution. We weren't at the speed of the game. Too many were off the pace of the game in that first half. And it still came down to a couple of first contact moments, one a long throw and then a longer ball, which was a lead into the free kick for the second goal, which we've been so poor at for so long. So disappointing in terms of that. Second half, certainly the first 20 minutes of that second half was exactly what we aimed for, we wanted. One cleared off the line, one good save by the goalkeeper. If one of those goes in, then we build a bit of momentum towards the end of the game, as opposed to still at 2-0 chasing it and then losing a little bit of our discipline, both in terms of footballing sense and our bodies and minds.
How disappointed were you with the defending for the goal and also the reaction to it? It looked to drain your players of confidence.
It does. We are where we are at the moment in terms of the run we've been on. If there's ever an example of why you always want Chrissy Martin on the pitch, it's probably at both ends in terms of defending set pieces as much as attacking it as well, and that's a real miss when he's not on the pitch. But we can't always rely on him to do a certain job. We've got enough centre halves, enough bodies on the pitch to take control of that situation. As has been a constant theme, it was a throw into an area. We didn't get there first, we didn't get there second or third, and the ball's in the back of our net. And then you just see in any life which might have been in us just drain out of us.
You made the triple change at half time, but do you feel like you got it tactically wrong in the first half, or was it more personnel?
Well, you can say tactics, but even when the ball bounces around ourselves and an opposition player, we're not quite there. Like I said, we just felt too many were off the speed of the game, off the pace of the game. And then you play on the back foot when your confidence isn't quite there. And that goes into all aspects of your game, because until that second half period of the 20 minutes, we didn't use the ball well enough in that first half to take any pressure, to give us any control. It's such a strange feeling as a manager. Some times in football games, you feel like you're in control in that first half. Like too many times this season, we didn't feel in any control.
And the changes did make a difference, didn't they? As you said, that first sort of 20 minutes in the second half. But did it drain in towards the end? Did it lack that bit of fight?
Well, towards the end, yeah, because the goal didn't go in, the feeling didn't change. And if anything, the pressure built in terms of us throwing more bodies forward and then being such a bright team and such a quick team. And he wants an identity about low league football, then look at the pace that was on the pitch for the opposition team tonight. We need to keep adding that to our group alongside some ball players which we've got. But as the game went on, we certainly didn't like the last 15 or 20 minutes, because when we were trying to force it, wasn't coming off, and then we just, like I say, just lost a little bit of discipline with him.
And there were boos at half time and full time. Was that hard for you?
Well, it's always hard when you hear people disappointed. I totally understand and accept it. I think I'd be the same if I was a supporter of Bristol Rovers at the moment. I just feel there's too many not where we want them or need them to be. And that's myself included at the moment. And I've got to find a way of getting what I do put out on the pitch, regardless of who's making that point, good enough to perform, and perform in a certain way where we survive for a little bit longer in a game, as opposed to having to chase, which we're constantly having to do.
Are you finding it hard to get what you need out of these players with the run that you're on?
Yes, 100%. But that's it's not on the players. They've had a tough season. They've been through a lot in terms of changes, probably different messages at different stages, valuing different things throughout the course of a season. And I think we're caught in between at the moment. I think we're all probably fighting our own instincts in terms of what we ultimately want. But it's my job to align that to make us look like a team that can function. And in the first half, we didn't look like that.
What would you say to fans that are questioning the players and yourself after what they saw tonight?
Well, they've got every right to question it. I mean, I've got no qualms in terms of that. They just need to stick with probably the longer term picture, the longer term plan. The uncertainty of every single player at this football club, regardless of who was going to be in this, I think there's 6 loans and another 7 or 8 out of contract, and there's some contracted ones who haven't had the game time they wanted. We were talking late teens in terms of players who are probably a little bit wary of what's next. And then in terms of everyone's personal situation, that's gone into the team being too personal and not connected enough, not connected in terms of identity or in terms of style. But like I said, that's on me. I'll try and give that group, as long as I can make the right decisions, a clear message going into the weekend.
You mentioned the 2 really good chances, one for Scott Sinclair and one for Brandon Aguilera, 2 different ends of their career. Does that kind of sum up where you're at?
Well, possibly, but there's still ball going in the back of the net, whether it's a bit of defending off the line for the first one or a fantastic save for the second one. I was pleased, like I say, with that attacking aspect in that second half, certainly to start the game. Or to start the second half, we were where we needed to be. We were forward, we were through, getting balls in the box, and then it's down to quality or possibly a little bit of luck.
What are you going to look to change ahead of Cheltenham on Saturday?
Well, I think I'll certainly look, if I'm able to, getting that seniority back on the pitch. I'm not to say we were better all the way through the second half, but it makes a difference. It calms everyone down. And in terms of ones who've probably a bit more body hardened to what the league's put them already this season, and the pace of the game, some of them are, like I say, even the ones we're trying to push towards and give the opportunity to, it just seemed a little bit too much tonight.
And just lastly, those experienced players that you brought on, how much of an impact do they need to have? Do they need to have those discussions in the dressing room about what happened tonight?
I think we can all have those discussions, but it's irrelevant when the game goes like it is at the moment, whether that's be performance or first goal against or first actions. You can go in with a fine tune in terms of going into absolute detail at every single moment of that game, but it still comes down to both goals in the first half, so preventable from our point of view and so far away from a goal at certain moments in that build-up. And then ultimately at some stage we're going to have to score a goal. We have to score a goal, and whether it was a chance that was created Saturday or that chance batch we had for the first 20 minutes of the second half, we can do it, but it needs to go in the back of the net. And this team's capable of more. And like I say, I've just got to find a way in the next couple of days of just realigning them with something that they're comfortable with for a little bit longer. But then the game will still shake us and unfold us at times.